Last month, American tennis player Taylor Townsend was the victim, but this month, it turns out she's the perpetrator. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment. Throat's going here, but we're going to get through this video. We're going to talk about this incident in China with tennis star Taylor Townsend that has been blown out of proportion, just like the incident last month at the US Open was also blown out of proportion when Jelena Ostapenko came out and she said that Taylor Townsend was uneducated. They had an argument over their match. She called her uneducated, and then it just led to this backlash where Jelena was getting called racist and all this, and all these other tennis stars came out and defended Taylor Townsend, and they were bowing down to Taylor Townsend. Anyway, we'll get into that in a minute, but so we're in China. We've got the Billie Jean Cup, I believe, or whatnot, or some tennis tournament in China, and Taylor Townsend was in China. She was served a buffet, and in the buffet there was frogs. She didn't like the frogs. She didn't think it was appropriate to be eating frogs. She criticised it, and now she's faced backlash, and she has apparently attacked a culture, which, I mean, I think is nonsense, but this is what she went on to say when talking about the frogs in the buffet. She says, quote, "This is the craziest thing I've ever seen, and people are eating this. As I go back and look, these people are literally killing bullfrogs. Aren't those poisonous? Aren't those the ones that give you warts and boils and stuff? And the fact that it's all stewed up with chilies, peppers and onions, like, oh, you really made this a dish? All in all, I'd give this a solid 2 out of 10 so far, because this is crazy." End of quote. And since those words, she has been criticised, and people have come out, they've condemned Taylor Townsend, they've said that she's attacked the Chinese culture, and she has apologised, sincerely apologised for her comments, and she's went on to say that she is privileged to be able to experience different parts of the world. She came out and says, quote, "I just want to come on here and apologise sincerely from the bottom of my heart. I understand that I am so privileged as a professional athlete to be able to travel all around the world and experience cultural differences, which is one of the things I love so much about what I do. I have nothing but the most amazing experience and time here and in the tournament. Everyone has been so kind and so gracious, and things that I said are not representative of that at all." End of quote. So, right, she's come out and she's been criticised and condemned for being, attacking a culture, and that's fine. Although I totally disagree. She doesn't believe that eating frogs is good, or she thinks that it's wrong to eat frogs, or she wouldn't necessarily eat frogs. I mean, that's fine. You're allowed to look at a culture, and you're allowed to pick out things that you don't agree with. You're allowed to pick out things that you don't think are appropriate and that you personally wouldn't do. You're allowed to do that, okay? That's absolutely fine. But what I think's interesting here is that she has supposedly attacked Chinese culture, but she's not been accused of racism. She's not been accused of being racist when she is, singling out Chinese food, Chinese culture. However, last month when Jelena Ostapenko, when she called Taylor Townsend uneducated, it was quickly turned into a race thing. It was quickly turned into she's racist and she is attacking the black female tennis player. And we had other tennis players like Naomi Osaka come out and say, that's horrible, that's racist, that's the worst thing you can say to a black woman in America. And it's like, what are you talking about? If you call someone uneducated, you're calling them uneducated. You can't add multiple meanings to it. So what they're saying is, if white person calls black person uneducated, racist. But if black person calls white person uneducated, it's not racist. It's just them telling them that they're dumb, pretty much. Again, it's all about a narrative and all about an agenda that they're trying to push. If a man called a woman, like in tennis, if a man comes up and says to a woman and they're arguing over the match or whatever, and he says, "You're uneducated," I guarantee you that they're going to say that he is a misogynist. But if a female come up arguing with a man and she called him uneducated, I guarantee you they're not going to say, "Oh, that's misandry." or she's a misandrist. You know, they're not going to do that. So I mean, it is bullshit. Let's just be fucking consistent. Both occasions and both scenarios and situations were blown out of control. All right, Opustenka called her uneducated because she disagreed with what her stance on the tennis court or whatnot, and then Taylor Townsend's came out and she's criticised Chinese food. It's not that fucking deep, okay? It's not. It's just I don't know why. Well, I do know why, but it's just ironic that she comes out and attacks a country's culture and food, and that's not racist, but a white person calls black person uneducated over a dispute in a tennis match, and all of a sudden that's racist. It doesn't make any bloody sense. And we all know that if Taylor Townsend called Yelena Opustenka uneducated, would all these Eastern European tennis players would they all come out and start defending Opustenka, and would they all be criticising Taylor Townsend? No. But because it was the other way about, we had Naomi Osaka and I believe another black tennis player come out and just jump on the bandwagon here and try to attack Opustenka. It was weird. I mean, there was nothing in these incidents. So yeah, load of shit in my opinion, guys. But there you go. That's it. Till next time. Peace.